Well, good afternoon and welcome back to the Little French Homestead. If you are new to my channel, welcome. This is part 2 of part 1 that was delivered to you on Tuesday. I will leave all of the recipes linked down below, and anything that I use will be in the description box. So you're standing in the kitchen on one side, and there is a 10-pound bag of rice that felt like a brilliant money move at the store. On the other hand, a family pack of chicken that seemed so economical. But now it just feels like a mountain of ingredients staring back at you, marching slowly towards the expiration date. And you know you have no plan. Look, we've all been there. You've bought in bulk to save money. But the truth is, without a system, you're more likely to waste food, money, and your precious time. You know that feeling of dread when you open up that freezer or refrigerator and see a fuzzy science experiment where your spinach used to be. Well, that is going to end today. The promise of bulk buying is a sweet one. Slash your grocery bill, make fewer trips to the store, and always have on hand what you need. But for so many of us, the reality is a pantry packed with good intentions and a fridge full of food that's about to go bad. The problem isn't buying in bulk. It's trying to use your normal cook one meal at a time habit on a high volume situation, and that doesn't work. But what if I told you there is a method to the madness that turns that overwhelming pile of ingredients into a delicious week of stress-free meals? A system that guarantees your bulk buys actually save you money instead of costing you. It's called batch cooking, and it's not just meal prep. It's a total kitchen philosophy. We're going to break it down into 3 pillars: smart purchasing, efficient cooking, and proper storage. By the end of this video, that mountain of chicken and rice won't look intimidating. It'll look like freedom. Freedom from the daily what's for dinner panic, freedom from wasted food, and freedom in what your budget is. Now, before we even touch a knife, we need to talk about the mental shift. The point of bulk buying isn't just to have more food, it's to do less work later. You're simple front-loading your effort. So instead of cooking a small batch of rice every night, you cook one giant pot on Sunday that can last for days. Instead of cooking one chicken breast for dinner tonight, you cook the whole family pack and you have proteins ready to go all week. That's the core of batch cooking. Preparing big quantities of your basic ingredients so then that way you can mix and match later. Think of it this way. You are not making 5 completely different meals, gourmet meals on that Sunday. That is a recipe for a burnout. No, you are creating building blocks. A block of proteins, a block of grains, and a block of veggies. So on that busy Tuesday night, you're not starting from scratch. You're actually just assembling what you've already cooked. That is the magic. It turns an hour of cooking time into a 10-minute assembly job. This is where that makes bulk buying actually profitable. It kills the temptation for expensive takeout after a long day because a real home-cooked meal is already 80% of the way there. The time that you invest on one afternoon saves you hours during the week, and every meal you put together from your stash is money back in your pocket. Success starts at the store. Walking into Costco or Sam's without a plan is not how you end up with a kayak and a 3-year supply of capers you will never use. So let's get strategic. First, focus on the versatile staples. These are the workhorses of your kitchen. Dry goods. This is the safest place to start. Now I'm talking about rice, pasta, quinoa, oats, and dried beans. They can last forever, and they are the base of countless meals. Cooking dry beans from scratch, for example, is ridiculously cheaper than canned. And when you cook a big batch, the effort is very tiny. Proteins. Here's where the big savings are. But you need a plan the second you get home. Ground meat, ground chicken breast, pork shoulders are all fantastic bulk buys. They absolutely key is the deal with them as soon as you get home. Don't just shove the giant package in the freezer when it becomes a fossil. Pantry staples. Things like cooking oils, canned tomatoes, and spices are usually cheaper in the bigger size. But be smart. Spices and whole wheat flour can lose their punch or go rancid over time, turning your bargain into a waste. Now, for a rule you must adopt, the first in, first out, or FIFO. This is a simple trick restaurants use, and it's a game changer at home. When you buy that new bag of rice, don't just cram it in front of the old one. Use up that old one first. To make this foolproof, get your bulk goods out of their clumsy packaging and into clear, airtight containers. I use big glass jars for rices and oats and stackable bins for flour and sugar. Then I grab a label maker or some masking tape and label every container with these two important things. What's inside and the date that you bought it. This simple habit gets rid of the guesswork and makes sure that you use these things up before they go bad. If you're a beginner, start small. Seriously, you don't need to buy a 50-pound bag of flour, just a double recipe you already love this week and freeze half. Get a feel for the rhythm of cooking and storing a little extra. Once that feels easy, then you can scale up. Okay, you got your groceries, and now for the action plan. I call this the 3-phase Sunday, but it can really be any day that you have for a few hours. This is how we turn that mountain of chicken and rice into a possibilities of cooking in smart stages for the week. Start here, because this phase has the longest and most hands-off time cooking. This is what your slow cooker or Instapot was made for. Let's take that family pack of chicken. Just put all the chicken breast into your slow cooker. Add about a cup of chicken broth or some water and a generous sprinkle of salt, pepper, and garlic powder. That's it. Lid on, set it for low 6 to 8 hours, and walk away. You're using the magic of passive cooking. While the chicken is cooking, you can do other things, or, might just relax for a minute. With the protein cooking on its own, it's now time for the carbs and the veggies. First, that rice. That 10-pound bag. You're not cooking at all, but you're making a big batch. For a week's worth, maybe 4 to 6 cups of dry rice is a good place to start. Cook it like you would normally. Once it's done, fluff it with a fork. And this is crucial. Spread it out on a baking sheet. This lets it cool down faster and stops it from getting clumpy and gross. Next, the veggies. Grab a couple of baking sheets. If the idea of chopping a ton of vegetables wants to make you cry, a food processor with a slicing blade is about to become your best friend. For broccoli, cauliflower, and peppers, chop them into bite-sized pieces. Toss them with a little bit of olive oil, maybe a dash of salt and pepper. Spread them in a layer on your baking sheet. Roast them at 400 until they're tender and a little brown. Roasting brings out their natural sweetnesses and makes them taste amazing, even when you reheat them. This is the final and most important phase. Everything has to cool down completely before it goes in the refrigerator. If you put hot food in a sealed container, you get condensation, which means soggy texture and a perfect environment for bacteria. Thanks, but no thanks. By now, your chicken should be ready. Pull it out of the slow cooker and shred it with 2 forks. It should fall apart. So now you have 3 core components: a big container of chicken, 1 of fluffy rice, and 1 of roasted veggies. You can divide these into single servings container for a grab-and-go lunches, or you can keep them in a larger container and build meals during the week. In the large container and put them in the refrigerator. This gives me a flexibility for dinner. If this system of turning kitchen chaos into easy button convenience is already making sense to you, do me a favor and go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We're all about sharing real strategies that make your life easy and save you money without adding more stress. All the work is done. Now let's protect that investment. Improper storage is the place where the whole brilliant plan can totally fall apart. The most important rule, and I cannot stress this enough, is to cool everything down completely before you stew it. I know I just said it before, but this is important. To speed up the cooling for stuff like rice or shredded chicken, spread it into a thin layer on a baking sheet. Most surface areas means that the heat escapes much faster. Your containers matter. Seriously, invest in a set of good airtight, preferably glass containers. Glass doesn't stain or hold on to odors, and you can actually see what's inside, which means you'll remember to eat it. For freezing, using safe bags, freezer bags, or containers, and squeeze out as much air as you possibly can to prevent that nasty freezer burn. And for the love that is all holy, label everything with what is it in the date. You think you remember that frozen block is, but I promise you in a month you won't. When it's time to reheat, do it safely. You want to get that food to an internal temperature of at least 165 to kill off any bacteria. Pro tip, only reheat though the amount that you are going to eat. Repeatedly cooling and reheating the same batch of food destroys the texture, and it isn't great for food safety. All right, this is where you get that reward. It's Wednesday night and you're tired. You're hungry, but dinner is not a problem. You open the fridge and you see your building blocks. So what can you make? So maybe on meal 1, it's a quick burrito bowl. Scoop in some rice, top it with some shredded chicken, some roasted veggies, and then add the easy stuff. A spoonful of salsa, maybe a can of some black beans, a dollop of yogurt, or some sour cream. Dinner's ready in 5 minutes. Meal 2, easy chicken tacos. Grab that shredded chicken, warm it up in a pan with a splash of water and a sprinkle of taco seasoning. Spoon it into the tortillas, add some cheese, lettuce, done. Meal 3, the 10-minute stir fry. Heat up a pan, toss in your pre-cooked rice, roasted veggies, add chicken, maybe a splash of soy sauce, and you have stir fry that's faster than finding your phone in order for takeout. See the pattern? The hard part is already done, and all you're doing is adding a few extra ingredients and sauces to turn the building blocks into completely different meals. This is how you avoid getting bored and actually enjoy the food you work to prep. The system isn't about spending your entire week chained to the stove. It's about investing in a few smart hours to buy yourself an entire week of freedom. Now go look at that mountain of food. That's not a problem, but a week's worth of opportunity. I would like to say thank you so much for allowing me to come into your home today. If you like this video, go ahead, like, click, share, but most importantly, go ahead and subscribe. I would really appreciate it if you go ahead and put some comments down below. I know that my community would love to read your comments and any suggestions that you have that have had successful to you in your life. My daughter has made us a delicious cake, so you are going to see that. I've made 3 loaves of bread. We've already gone through 2.5. My family has been loving my new bread machine. I will also link that down in the description box below. You can find that on Amazon as well. And just keep on cooking. Thank you all and have a great day. Bye.